some of them don't. They're isolated, So that's something that is going to be really important. And I think in the future, especially, that's going to give you a leg up, if you will,
Yes.
in the leadership world and just in your business. Hi, leaders. Welcome back to the LeadHer Lounge. This week's episode, we are going to kind of focus a little bit more on like the ever-changing work world that we're living in right now. There's a lot of changes in technology, as we know, a lot of advancements in AI, like on the daily, if not by the minute these days, which is crazy. A lot of new generations. I mean, we've got the older generations are staying in the workforce, but we already have like Gen Alphas starting to get into the workforce as well, which is crazy. And then, there's going to be an increased demand, especially with the climate these days, for empathy and flexibility, and that's not going away. So what we're going to be talking about today specifically is 3 essential leadership skills that you are going to need in 2030, in 5 years from now and beyond too.
It sounds like so far away.
2030?
I was thinking like 2030, that's so far away. It's 5 years.
It's 5 years from now. Yeah, it's crazy. I know. Okay. Anyway, time flies when you're having a good time.
Yes.
You're having a time.
Yes.
But the first best practice that we're going to be talking about, despite all the technology advances, is actually going to be human-centered communication.
Yes. And AI can replace tasks, scheduling, even content creation, but they cannot replace the human connection. They can't. They can't replace that human connection. Some best practices, or maybe a best practices that you can start implementing today. Don't wait until 2030 to
start doing it now.
You can ask questions like, what can I do this week for you to feel supported? What is something that you need from me for you to feel supported? And perhaps, and this happened a lot when I was a leader, I asked these questions and they usually say nothing. I'm good. Yep. I'm good. All good. But tell them, okay, I know you got this. I know you got this. But if you have any questions, any concerns, if you want to bounce ideas, just let me know that I'm here for you. I'm here to support you. And that just opens the doors for them to approach you. Yeah. Because they know, I'm not going to bother my leader when I go to ask a question, because they actually were telling me to do it. They were the ones telling me to approach them with questions and concerns and ideas. So open the door with that question and build that human connection.
Absolutely. I love it. And I think with all of we've said it so many times, all of the different ways we can communicate now, like through email, texting, I don't know, apps, whatever else there is, like WhatsApp and stuff like that. That human element, it's still missing. Like, yes, we're typing and we're sharing words, but we're not actually seeing each other, and we're not understanding. We're not gaining we don't have that intuition anymore, almost, And I think especially with the younger generations that are coming into the workforce, it's going to be harder for them to. I've heard this from leaders already of like, younger people don't know how to talk to people. They don't know how to interact with each other. And that's not I don't want to make that so much of a blanket statement, but some of them don't. They're isolated, So that's something that is going to be really important. And I think in the future, especially, that's going to give you a, what's the word? Like an upper edge or a leg up, if you will, in the leadership world and just in your business in general. But I love it. The second point is adaptive thinking. And for leaders in this ever-changing world that we have, the leaders that are rigid are going to be the leaders that are obsolete. They're no longer going to be necessary, because if you can't change and roll with the punches, you're useless. I hate to say that. That sounds so harsh. Sorry. But it's true. Like, if you can't adapt and adjust and change and go with the flow, like, you are going to be left behind. And pivoting is such an essential skill to have as a human, but especially as a leader, because pivoting isn't just, I'm making a quick decision on the fly. It's like, I'm making a decision and I'm probably going to fail. And that's okay. Expect to fail. Failing, we talk about failing fast, failing forward, fail like often, but don't dwell on it. Pivoting is not dwelling on that and saying, okay, that didn't work, we're going to move on and go to the next thing. And sometimes you are going to have to make quick decisions with very little information, especially in the way that businesses are changing and their policies are changing, and all of those, like everything is kind of chaotic in a way right now, and you're going to have to make a lot of decisions on the fly. Our advice to you with that is go back to the company values, the company vision, the company mission. What is the goal that you are trying to accomplish as a company, not just in that specific moment, That will help you make a decision a little bit more intentionally, as opposed to just by the seat of your pants of like, I think I'm just going to try this right now. You know what I mean? So, and you can help your employees kind of do the same thing if you offer that kind of place and environment for them to get ahead of things too. Maybe you can anticipate some of the changes that are going to be coming because you've got an employee that's really up on technology, or you're up on technology. You can have a space. We like to suggest things like pivot sessions. Ask your team, what can we start doing today that we're not doing yet to maybe help prevent something from happening or encourage something to happen? What can we stop doing today that's not giving any value to us anymore? And what can we experiment with? What should we try that maybe we haven't thought of before? Give them that time to be creative and give them the space to think of those ideas, because then when you do make a decision that maybe doesn't land well and you do have to pivot, you've got a team of people now who are like, oh, wait, we thought about this in that pivot session. Why don't we try this way instead? And that will just give you more support as a leader.
Yes, and we do have a whole episode about leading through uncertainty that we really break everything down, all those steps down about pivoting and changing when things you thought that were gonna go one way, but they actually changed. And something that you're gonna notice with those three different skills for leaders for 2030 is that you need to be curious. You need to learn. Everything comes from curiosity. And again, those courageous questions, because you will learn a lot from them. They are the ones working, they're the ones in the weeds. You have the big picture, the company values, the company goals. I hope they also know those things.
They should.
You have but you have the big picture. So that's why for you it's a little bit easier to make those decisions, and you have the responsibility to make those decisions as well. And that takes us to our third skill is coaching, having a coaching mindset instead of having a managing mindset.
Quick pause, leaders. Here's a leadership development resource courtesy of Monarch Coaching.
Every great leader knows growth doesn't happen in isolation. It happens with accountability, support, and the right kind of challenge. That's exactly what our leadership coaching packages are built for. Whether you are an aspiring leader finding your voice, a new leader finding your footing, or an experienced one ready to level up, you don't have to figure it out alone. With Monarch Coaching, you'll gain clarity, confidence, and a coach who helps you stay aligned with the leader you are becoming. Visit the link in our bio to learn more about available packages and use the code LHL10 at checkout to receive 10% of your first leadership coaching package.
Now back to our conversation.
Ask powerful questions instead of just giving orders. So these are some of the questions that you can ask. How can I approach this better? Hey, come here. Do you have a second? I want your opinion about this. Maybe they're not even involved in that project, but you just want their opinion. And that feels so, like leaders in the past used to do that with me. And it feels so amazing and so empowering. Just that they want my opinion. They want my idea, even though I'm not involved in that specific project.
Yeah. There's that famous quote. I think it was Jim Harbaugh, and it's so simple. It's just like, what do you think? What do you think? Tell me what you think about this situation. How can we make this better? Yeah. And it's so simple. And when someone, I was just recently listening to someone saying that they've never had someone ask, maybe it was a guest we had on the show, but they were like, I've never been asked what I thought before about something.
Yes.
And that's like, it's such a simple thing to ask, but we don't think about it because, especially as leaders, sometimes we do feel like we have all the
Or
answers
I need to have all the
or I need
answers.
to. Yeah.
Yes.
And that's just not true.
Not true. And just added in just the other like portion is the just adding I just want your opinion. You're so good at
Mm-hmm.
this. I would like to hear what you think about this. Or
Yeah.
this is what I'm thinking. Do you think this? What do you think?
Yeah. What do you
Give me
think?
some feedback. So
Mm-hmm.
that's how you build the future leaders. So those are pretty much our three kind of like essential skills that we need to start developing. I mean, of course, there are more that we always talk throughout the whole
Whole
show.
show. Yeah.
Yes. But human centered communication, important. I know AI is going to be there in 2030, in 2030, in 2040, in 2050, who knows? So we need to adapt, adaptive
Mm-hmm.
thinking. And
Yeah.
the last one is coaching mindset, having a coaching mindset.
Yeah. This stands for today just as much as it would for tomorrow. Like, the best leaders don't have all the answers. They don't have all the knowledge. They're not the most, we've talked about it before, they're not the loudest person in the room, all of that stuff. But the best leaders are the ones that have the self-awareness, the social awareness, the adaptability, and that humanity. Like, that I think is going to be truly the deciding factor of like who wins and who loses in the future. Like, are you able to make human connection or not? But with that being said, thank you guys so much for joining us today. If you got any best practices, or if you've actually got any additional essential skills that you'd like to share that you feel like leaders today or in 2030 are going to still need that we didn't talk about today on the show, we'd love to know in the comments below. And of course, share this with anyone who you feel like could benefit from these best practices and the skills that we've shared as well. And again, don't forget to subscribe if you enjoy getting the content from us.
Yes, and thank you again to our friends at Velocity and Sterling Heights for this beautiful studio, and we will see you next